On to those and other stories in detail now, and starting off with the top story. 6 people were critically injured while trapped in a fire broke out this morning at a garment store on the 2nd Cross Street in Petta.
Director of the Emergency Service in Colombo National Hospital, Dr. Indika Jagadu, stated that they were admitted to the intensive care unit with critical conditions due to complexities caused by inhaling toxic gases. A fire broke out at about 8 to 9 a.m. today in the 6-story clothing and footwear store located in front of the Red Mosque in the 2nd Cross Street. People and shop workers around the area rushed to the scene to help to douse the fire. Fire Brigade of the Colombo Municipality, Sri Lanka Air Force and Harbours rushed to the scene and doused the fire and started a rescue mission soon. About 7 fire engines were used for this purpose. Officials of the Colombo Municipality Fire Brigade said that the fire was totally extinguished following a mission of about 2 hours. Eyewitnesses said that the fire erupted in a lower floor and quickly spread throughout the building. Persons who were trapped in the building at the time of the fire were rescued without delay and admitted to the Colombo National Hospital. All of them are employees of the relevant textile shop.
ගින්න කොහොමද පටන් ගත්තේ කියලා දැක්කේ නෑ. පත් වෙන එක දැක්ක දුම යන එක. ඊට පස්සේ වතුර බෝතලේ ගෙන්න කලින් නිවන්න කලින්ම ගින්න ලොකුවට ගියා. එම බිල්ඩින්ග් එක ඇල්ලුවා. එකපාරට පීස් කියලා පත් වුණා. බොසා කියලා නිවන්න ගියා. ඒක හරි ගියේ නෑ. එම පත් වෙගෙන ගියා.
Director of the Emergency Service in Colombo National Hospital, Dr. Indika Jagadu, said that 6 persons were admitted to the intensive care unit as their condition was critical. They are seriously suffocated by inhaling toxic gases. Meanwhile, Health Minister Dr. Ramesh Pathirana made an observation tour at the National Hospital to check the condition of the patient. Health Minister Dr. Ramesh Pathirana said that condition of the patient in the ICU is returning to normalcy at present. Hospital staff has quickly mediated to treat the patients. There are required facilities at the hospital as well. Now, President Ranil Wickremesinghe invites all politicians and citizens to establish new political system and new economy to a country for a well-being of all while maintaining respective political differences within multi-party democracy.
The President points out that people should go forward with a new economy, new country and a new political system. The President made these remarks during the ceremony organised at the Colombo Royal College today to mark the centenary celebrations of the Reed Avenue Main Hall.
I think there are about 50 to 100 good schools which are competing. Royal has to compete with them. And that is good, you come up. But all those 100 schools are producing students which can easily compare with the best in England. Our A-level is tougher than the London A-level, which most of you know. But when you treat for the London A-level, much easier. So we are having a cream of a group of this in these 100 schools also, 100 plus or minus. And that we have to develop as the future. Look into the new technologies, look into the new sciences, look into the climate change, how we are functioning. So that is one part. The second part, of course, is the country. We have also come to a turning point. We can no longer go with the old system. It's a crisis of the old order, and the old order is collapsed. We can't go back to that, whether it be economics, whether it be education, whether it be politics. We have to build something anew. Look at the future. The country you all want, not the country we had. Look at a new country, a new economy, a new political system, everything. A country meant for you all, not for us. And we royally should be capable of doing it. From C.A. Lawrence, what did we did? Up to all the J.R. Jayawardena and others, we built a new country. So we have come to that point. And let us get together all and build that new country together. We should not fail. And I'd like to ask all my colleagues in Parliament, let's get together and work whatever be our political differences. There has to be political differences in a multi-party democracy. Let's all get together and build that country. We must all remember the oath we took, the oath of the young men of Amherst. We shall transmit this city only or not less, but greater, better and more beautiful than when it was transmitted to us.
Now, Minister Susil Premachand says that he expects to meet teacher and principal trade unions next week. The minister expressed his regret to them that if faction was subjected to discrimination or inconvenience at the recent protest campaign held by teachers and principals, he made these remarks addressing the media following a function held at the BMICH premises.
දැන් අයවැලේක නිකුත් ලං වෙන නිසා අපි අයවැයට යෝජනා කරලා තිනවා මේ විෂමතාවයන් ඉවත් කිරීම ගුරු
Minister Susil Premachand said that the ministry has focused attention regarding the salary anomalies of not only teachers and principal services but also another service in education sector. The budget is coming near and the proposal has been made to allocate funds for this purpose in next year. The Treasury has to consider the prevailing economic situation in the country in allocating funds to rectify salary anomalies. It is the nature of the trade unions to forward demands on behalf of their members.
Moving on to the Australia update, the Israeli Defence Forces says that its fighter jets have struck more than 250 targets in the Gaza Strip in the last 24 hours. Posting on X, formerly Twitter, the Israeli Defence Forces say the targets include tunnels, dozens of Hamas fighters, operational headquarters and launching positions for fighter jets. The IDF also says it killed a Hamas commander in Khan Younis, accusing him for taking part in attacks on Israeli Defence Forces and Israeli settlements, and IDF goes on to say that an aircraft crashed in the Gaza Strip due to a technical malfunction, which it says has been investigated. Meanwhile, Israeli authorities says that the number of hostages kidnapped from Israeli and held by Hamas in Gaza has been risen to 229 as a new update. More than 1,400 Israeli were killed in the initial attacks on Israeli by Hamas on the 7th of October. The Hamas-run health ministry in Gaza says 7,000 people have been killed there, 40% of whom are children, and the World Health Organization says it believes the figures are reliable.
Now, the oil prices rose around 1% a barrel today as investors priced in fears of an escalation of conflict in the Middle East, which could disrupt oil supplies after reports that the American military had struck Iranian targets in Syria. Brent crude furthers for December rose 93 cents or roughly 1.1% to $88.86 a barrel. The U.S. West Texas intermediate contract for December climbed 91 cents, also about 1.1% to $84.12 a barrel. Two U.S. fighter jets struck weapons and ammunition facilities in Syria today in retaliation for attacks on U.S. forces by Iranian-backed militias since the Gaza was erupted. Iranian Foreign Minister said yesterday at the United Nations that if Israel's offensive against Hamas did not stop, the United States will not spread them from fire. Separately, projectiles hit two Egyptian Red Sea towns on Friday, injuring several people, sources and officials said, showing the risk of regional spillover from the conflict.
And meanwhile, the body of a Sri Lankan migrant worker, Anula Jatilaka, was killed by a Hamas attack in Israel is scheduled to be brought to the island tomorrow. The Foreign Employment Bureau stated that the Israeli government has agreed to sponsor to conduct her final rites in Sri Lanka. Anula Jatilaka was killed by a Hamas attack while serving in a house at Gaza Strip as a caregiver. Religious rites and public respect for her remains were conducted in Israel recently. Staff of the Sri Lankan embassy in Israel, members of the family she has worked, and a number of Sri Lankans living in Israel were present at this occasion. Deputy General Manager of the Foreign Employment Bureau, Gamini Senratyapa, said that the Israeli government considered all foreigners, including Sri Lankans who were killed in Israel, as victims of war. Accordingly, they extend state patronage to conduct the final rites of the victims. The Israeli government has also expressed willingness to bear the cost of dispatch the dead bodies to the relevant countries. In addition, Sri Lankan Foreign Employment Bureau also provides the required support with the financial assistance as well. Sri Lankan Ambassador in Israel, Nimal Bandara, said that the victim had served the elderly women and she had looked after the Israeli residents. She had covered her patients under the bed and come out to see what is happening. Unfortunately, she was shot at this occasion. The Israeli family neighbors respect the Sri Lankan workers for act of benevolence. Sri Lankan Ambassador in Israel, Nimal Bandara, also expressed views regarding to the security of Sri Lankans in Israel. He expressed her ideas at a special media briefing held at the Government Information Department online. Sri Lankan Ambassador in Israel, Nimal Bandara, said that it has been identified that over 2,000 Sri Lankans are staying in Israel without proper visa permits. Meanwhile, Palestinian Embassy in Sri Lanka held a media briefing and explained the crisis situation occurred in the Gaza Strip at present.
Sri Lankan media, social media, to be stick to the truth and to follow up what's going on in reality.
Now, Minister Dr. Bandula Gunawardena today praised the employees who constructed a temporary accessway to the Bambalapitiya railway station within 10 days. The existing overhead corridor is severely dilapidated and posing a danger for the public. This temporary access corridor was constructed as an alternative until the existing overhead corridor will be renovated. Media recently revealed that the overhead corridor at the Bambalapitiya railway station is severely dilapidated. Considering this condition, the President instructed the authorities to renovate it as soon as possible. Accordingly, the renovation work will commence from today. The temporary overhead corridor was declared open for the public today. Minister Dr. Bandula Gunawardena said that the permanent overhead corridor will be renovated with a period of 5 months. Minister Dr. Bandula Gunawardena said that this is not a ceremony but an action of expressing thanks. There are over 30 dangerous dilapidated bridges in the country. It has been estimated a sum of 2,000 million rupees to renovate them. Due to the economic downturn caused by COVID-19 pandemic, the country has no funds to repair the bridges. After paying salaries, pensions, samruddhi allowances and other relief, the Treasury has no extra money to do other activities. All the governments so far had managed the other expenses by obtaining local and foreign debts. When the Presidential Secretariat informed us to repair this bridge, we managed to do this by the State Development and Construction Cooperation using iron bars dumped at several workshops. In such difficult situation, the State Development and Construction Cooperation has achieved a commendable task of constructing this temporary access bridge within 10 days.
And the Medical Faculty's Student Action Committee have organized a protest in Colombo against the establishment of private universities in Sri Lanka. The protest was originally planned to start at the public library in Connection and in Colombo and go forward as a protest march. A tense situation occurred when the police stopped the march. Then the police attacked the students with water cannons and tear gas. Members of the riot squad and the army were also called for the support of the police. President's Counsel Sarath Jaman says that according to the NIV Anti-Corruption Act, even private sector employees and officials are also liable to be prosecuted under the offences of bribery and corruption. In case of a private company subjected to an accusation, the directors of the company will also be accountable for the relevant offences. The President's Counsel said therefore the private companies will also have to prepare NIV rules and set of etiquettes. President's Counsel Sarath Jaman expressed these views participating in a seminar organized at the Central Bank's Training Centre in Rajagiriya yesterday under the title of Join Hands Together to Build a Country Free of Corruption. Governor of the Central Bank Dr. Nandalal Veerasinghe also expressed views at this seminar. President's Counsel Sarath Jaman said that IMF gave us a message with regard to the institutions that are severely corrupted. This is an important milestone of acting against bribery and corruption. If an official worker or a director of a private sector takes a bribe to achieve their duties, that has also made a criminal offence under the NIV Act. Not only that, the matter of sexual bribes has also been included in the Act. The countries like Canada and Sweden are on the top of the list of uncorrupted countries. Earlier, Sri Lanka was at the 89th position of the list, and now that we have gone down to 102nd place. We all are willing to live in such an uncorrupted country, but when we go to live in such a country, we may feel that Sri Lanka is a marvelous country to live in.
ඒකට අපි කියන්නේ ලිංගික අල්ලස්. ලෝකයේ තියෙන අල්ලස දූෂණය තුරන් කරපු ලයිස්තුවක් රටවල් වලින් හදලා. ඒ ලයිස්තුවේ අපි හිටියේ 89. අද වෙනකොට සාර්ථක ලෙස 102ට පල්ලෙහාම බහලා තියෙනවා. හැබැයි අපි ආඩම්බරෙන් කතා කළ යුතුයි මේ ලයිස්තුවේ ඉන්නේ පළවෙනි රටවල් 10 ස්කැන්ඩිනේවියන් රටවල්. කැනඩාව, ස්වීඩනය ගොඩක් අය හරි ආසයි. ඒ රටවල් වලට ගිහිල්ලා අල්ලසෙන් දූෂණයෙන් තොර රටක ජීවත් වෙන ගොඩක් අය ආසයි. ඒ සීන සැබෑ වෙනවා නම් කොච්චර හොඳද. හැබැයි එහෙ ගියාම ලංකාව වගේ තව සුන්දර තැනක් නැහැ කියලා උන්ට හිතේවි.
Governor of the Central Bank Dr. Nandalal Veerasinghe said that when some countries and international organizations deal with a country in the present situation, they consider whether there is a proper mechanism against bribery and corruption. Therefore, this anti-corruption bill is very important in attracting foreign aid and foreign investments into the country. On the other hand, some local entrepreneurs are reluctant to pay taxes as the bribery and corruption is rampant in state institutions. Many people see the corruption as the major problem in the process of development.
Now, certificates were distributed to the members of the second batch of the vocational training conducted by Sri Lanka Rupavahini Corporation. The awarding ceremony was held at the Sri Lanka Rupavahini Corporation premises under the patronage of the chairman, Dr. Prasad Samarasinghe. Trainees who followed the courses of TV, camera and lighting, news and program presenting were awarded with certificates at this ceremony. The 6-month courses were conducted by the Research and Training Unit of Sri Lanka Rupavahini Corporation. Number of veteran and experienced lecturers in the television sector conducted theory and practical lessons in these courses. 70 trainees who successfully completed the 2022-23 batch received certificates today. A number of senior officials of the corporation were also present at this occasion.
We're moving for a short commercial break. We'll be back with more local news items.
Welcome back. We take a look at more local stories. The petition filed by Ministers Harin Fernando and Manusha Nanayakara against the Samagi Jana Balawegaya for ousting them for their party membership was summoned for the consideration today.
Lawyers appeared for the petitioners informed the Supreme Court that the decision to evict them from the party has not been properly approved by the working committee of the Samagi Jana Balawegaya. The petition was considered in front of a three-member panel of judges, namely Vijit Manalgoda, Achula Venkapulli and Arjuna Besekura. Lawyers appeared for the petitioners pointed out that the decision to oust them from the party is detrimental to the party's constitution. Although the working committee is vested with the power to suspend or dismiss a member, a proper procedure should be followed. The President's Counsel Faiza Mustafa, who appeared for Manusha Nanayakara, said that according to the letter of eviction, it is not obvious that a proper procedure has been followed. The power to call explanations and taking disciplinary actions are vested with the working committee of the Samagi Jana Balawegaya and not with the party leader. The President's Counsel further said that although the party said that a disciplinary committee has been appointed to take actions against his clients, there is no evidence of confirming the matter. That President Counsel Faiza Mustafa further pointed out that General Secretary of the Samagi Jana Balawegaya had not taken part in the meeting that his controversial decision has been taken. Appearing for the Minister Harin Fernando, President's Counsel Ramesh Silva said that on the other hand, the party has only used newspaper reports and video clips as evidence to justify its decision. He also pointed out that his client had not got the opportunity to face an independent and justifiable disciplinary action. Therefore, the Samagi Jana Balawegaya's decision to evict his client from the party is totally against the party constitution. The further consideration of the petition was postponed to the 14th of November.
The Met Department announces that showers or thunder showers may occur in the latter part of the day at some places in the island except in northern, north central and eastern provinces. Meanwhile, landslides and floods has also been reported from some areas. The warning issued by the National Building Research Organization for 5 districts is effect further. Ransagoda area along with Kamburupitiya Mulatiyana main road is at risk of subsiding due to heavy rainfalls in the area. Only one lane of the road is opened for motor vehicles due to this reason. Heavy rains experienced in the Urubokka, Kuburupitiya, Akurugoda areas last night. Owing to heavy rains, water level of the Nilvala river is rising rapidly, causing floods in several low-lying areas. The Met Department says that fairly heavy rains over 50 millimeters may occur in some places in the western and Sabaragamu provinces and in Galle and Mathura districts.
Consultant pediatrician Deepal Perera says that dengue's high-risk zones can be further increased due to the prevailing rainy weather condition. He stated that therefore preventing children from mosquito bites is very much important.
වගකීම අපේ අරමුණයි. ජාතික රූපවාහිනිය සමග මෝටීන් ඩෙන්ගු නැති හෙටක්.
Consultant pediatrician Dr. Deepal Perera said that if there are symptoms of fever, headache and pain in the eye, children should be brought to the nearby hospital for medical checkups. However, the best thing is to prevent them from mosquito bites.
Now, the Ministry of Industry and Health, Dr. Ramesh Patirana, states that due to the limited availability of land for industrial purposes in Sri Lanka, the objective is to designate 1% of the nation's total land area for industrial use. Furthermore, he pointed out that there was a remarkable opportunity to achieve a historic record in our country's export earnings with the potential to reach $13.1 billion by the year 2022. Dr. Ramesh Patirana made these remarks during his participation in a press conference held at the Presidential Media Center today with the overreaching theme of collective path to a stable country. Minister Dr. Ramesh Patirana said that amid the recent dual challenges of the COVID-19 pandemic and the economic crisis, individuals across all sectors from small enterprises to large corporations devoted their collective efforts to enhance our country's production. Their dedication deserves our sincere appreciation. Our nation's entrepreneurs played a pivotal role in elevating both domestic production and exports, particularly during periods of imports restriction. As a result, there was a promising opportunity to achieve an unprecedented milestone by the generation, an import of $13.1 billion by 2020. Sri Lanka faces limitations in the available land for the industrial purposes, hindering the growth of our industrial sector.
And now let's move on to some more local news items in brief. A commemoration stamp was released today to mark the 75th anniversary of French-Sri Lanka diplomatic relations. The ceremony was held at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs with the participation of Ministers Dr. Bandula Gunawardena, President's Council Ali Sabri, State Ministers Shanta Bandara and Tharaka Balasuriya. An appeal court judge removed himself from the consideration of the petition filed against State Minister Sanath Nishantha. The petition was summoned in front of the President of the Court of Appeal, Nishanka Bandula Kanuratna, and Judge Shamath Moraes today, and the Judge Shamath Moraes said that he will be away from the hearing of the petition. The petition will be resummoned on the 31st of this month. The remains of late veteran professional in the finance sector Darshana Ravindra Surya are now lying at a private funeral parlour in Borella. The final rites will be held at the Borella Cemetery at 12 p.m. tomorrow. Stay tuned with international news after this break. Welcome back with international stories. And foreign media reports that 27 people are reported to be dead from the hurricane Otis in Acapulco, Mexico. Residents in the area wander street covered in mud and strewn in debris, and many of them are in search of aid and basic necessities.
Hurricane Otis rode ashore as a deadly and destructive Category 5 storm. Mexican government officials have said that 4 people remained missing in addition to the dead. According to a report compiled by the European Commission's Civil Protection and Humanitarian Aid Operation, more than 34,500 evacuated families were in 631 temporary shelters across affected areas in Mexico. Hundreds of military personnel, medical teams and rescue crews were sent to the affected areas.
Welcome back with your sports update. And another 2 Sri Lankan para-athletes won 2 silver medals for Sri Lanka today at the Asian Para Games, which is held in China.
Anil Prasanna won the silver medal in T63 category 100 meters male running event. He completed the event with a time of 12.98 seconds. Meanwhile, Nuwan Indika won a silver medal in the T44 category 100 meters male long jump event. He showed a skill of 6.68 meters. Earlier, Nuwan Indika won a gold medal from the 100 meters running event as well.
And that's it on tonight's news. Do just about at the very same time. I'm